I built two parlays for today's matches, one at 5.9 odds. Let's break them down. First match, France vs Sweden. Here I found a very solid option for the main parlay with good working odds, and also a juicy option for the wild parlay that looks very interesting too. In my opinion, the scenario here is pretty clear. France look like one of the strongest teams in this tournament right now. 3 wins in the group, 10 goals scored, the best goal difference, and the feeling that Deschamps' team still hasn't even reached in full gear. The most important thing, their finishing is insane. Mbappé and Dembélé are absolutely on fire, both already on 4 goals, and Olise is doing a great job connecting the game and feeding passes between the lines. And against this kind of attack, Sweden will have a very hard time, especially if we look at how Sweden played against the Netherlands. Those 5 goals conceded showed very clearly the main weakness of this team. Their defense simply can't handle pressure from top-level teams. And now they're also missing Hien, who is out for the rest of the tournament. That's a huge blow for their backline. Lindelof will have to adapt, and against a team like France, any reshuffling usually means mistakes. Please drop a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here you will find really deep and well-argued match analysis. Thank you, let's keep moving. I think the French will try to close this game early. They love starting aggressively, loading the flanks, pinning the opponent back, and creating volume before halftime. And if Sweden show any weakness, France will punish it immediately. But at the same time, I don't think Sweden are completely hopeless here. Their attacking line is strong. Isak, Gyökeres, Elanga. These are dangerous guys who can create something out of nothing. And the biggest thing, Sweden scored in every match of this tournament, even when they struggled badly. And France, despite all their power, don't always keep clean sheets. They conceded in 7 of their last 8 matches, and that's also an important signal. So I think this is a very workable script here, where France get their job done, but Sweden also find their man, especially if France relax a bit after getting a comfortable lead. That's why for the main parlay I really like France team total over 2. Based on current form and the way Sweden defend against top teams, it looks very logical. And for the juicy option, I would go for 1-2 plus both teams to score yes at 2.3. Guys, quick announcement. I have my Telegram channel where I post very strong stats. Everything is fully transparent and honest, daily reports with screen recordings, and a huge amount of your feedback. I don't hide my face, I pay taxes as an entrepreneur, and I run several YouTube channels. I left the link to my Telegram in the description below. Let's continue. And separately, guys, I wanna grab one interesting small mark, yellow cards. There is value here too. First of all, the match is being officiated by Danny McKellar, and this is a referee who really doesn't like letting the game flow. Already in this World Cup he handed out 9 yellow cards in 2 matches, and that tells you everything about his stuff. If the game heats up, he will start looking without hesitation. And now about the teams themselves. France are usually quite disciplined. They rarely get grabbed into rough games, rarely collect many cards, and usually keep everything under control. But Sweden are a completely different story, especially against strong opponents. There is always hot battles, a lot of tactical flaws, and stopping counters. And it makes sense because when you are facing Mbappé, Dembélé, Barcola and Olise, you physically can't keep up without falling. With the speed France have, that's almost guaranteed pressure on the defense. I think Sweden will stop a lot of attacks here through physicality, especially if France take control early and start increasing the tempo. That's why Sweden team total over 1.5 yellow cards looks like very solid option. I like it for the main parlay. And if you want to take a risk, Sweden -1 handicap on cards at even odds or Sweden over 2 yellow cards at 2.43 also look interesting. Guys, on high odds I don't like using my main bankroll, because odds above 2 are always risky. So usually I like using welcome bonuses from partners. I signed up, deposited the minimum, got 5 bonus activations, and basically load each bonus on one parlay with high odds. If it hits, the bonuses multiply by the big odds and go straight into my main bankroll, and I can withdraw them. But if it doesn't, I don't lose money from my main bankroll, which is also nice. The partner is official and reliable. I left the bonus link and full conditions in the pinned message on my Telegram channel. The promo is still active. Let's move on. Second match, Mexico versus Ecuador. Here I found a very solid option for the main parlay with good working odds, and also a juicy option for those who like tight odds. In my opinion, this is one of those matches where you shouldn't just look at the names and emotions after the group stage, but dig deeper into the context. And now I'll explain my logic. Mexico had a flawless group stage. 9 points out of 9, not a single goal conceded, and most importantly, not against weak teams. They played South Africa, South Korea, and Czech Republic, and in every game Mexico looked very organized. Their defense is especially impressive. Only 0.5 xGA per match, that's a serious number. This team allows almost nothing at their goal. And for me, that's the biggest foundation for the playoffs, because in knockout football, reliability usually decides everything. Plus, there is a huge fact. Mexico playing at home, at Azteca, at altitude, where they've been adapted for a long time. That's a massive edge, especially against a team that just spent everything in a brutal match against Germany. Ecuador were great, of course, beating Germany 2-1 and jumping into the playoffs. But they spent a lot of energy there. Now they come into this match with less recovery time, plus straight into altitude, where keeping the tempo is much harder. I think that's a very underrated fact, especially in the second half. For the first 20-30 minutes, Ecuador may still hold the highest pace, but after that their legs will drop, and Mexico know how to exploit that. I like how Aguero prepared the team. He rotated in the third group match, gave his leaders rest, took pressure off mentally, and now Mexico come into this match as fresh as possible. That's another huge plus. As for the game script, I think Ecuador will be aggressive early. They play with high energy, press hard, try to attack quickly through the flanks, and feed Valencia and Plata. But the problem is Mexico are very good at breaking exactly this kind of football. They are disciplined, keep structure, and don't allow much space between the lines. And once Ecuador starts getting tired, Mexico will calmly take over the ball and slow the game down on their turns. That's where the home factor can become decisive. Plus, in terms of finishing, Mexico look much more stable right now. Ecuador in the first 2 rounds couldn't score at all despite creating chances. That's also a warning sign. One good match against Germany doesn't erase finishing problems. And against a defense like Mexico's, chances will be even harder to find. I see a very tight, physical game here where everything could be decided by one moment. And in that kind of match, I simply like Mexico more. Fresher, more adapted, more organized, and with huge crowd support. That's why for the main parlay I take Mexico draw no bet, because they simply should not lose in regular time. And for the juicy option, Mexico win plus under 3.5 goals at 2.6 looks very interesting.